Hi, I wanted to continue sharing some of my story about my experience in leading up to and um, through my first surgery, my BSO surgery. And one of the things I was thinking about that I really wanted to share was around um, a piece of self-advocacy that it actually felt relatively hard when I did it. I was very nervous, and yet it was so important for me, and it led to a realization of how I have maybe not advocated for myself for fear of being judged or looking weird even. And one of the things that I wanted was, so the way that it works is I went to a like a gynecology office that had 4 physicians, and I had my first appointment with one of the physicians on the phone, and then also a second appointment with him on the phone. But the 2 other physicians or surgeons that were going to do the surgery were not ones that I had met. And even with that, I didn't meet with the doctor that I had the calls with. I hadn't actually met anyone in person, and I hadn't even talked to the two surgeons who were going to be doing my surgery, which for me felt unsettling. I wanted to, talk to and meet the people. And I went online and tried to put some names to faces to try and just have a visual of them. And I wasn't able to find pictures of them. And one of the things that was really important for me as I was preparing for surgery was doing a visualization of how I wanted it to go. And it didn't even matter that I didn't know the hospital well in terms of knowing like how I would get admitted, or how I would like where the different locations in the hospital were, where the surgical ward was, etc. But it was important to me to visualize the whole thing. So visualize the intake and visualize how I was interacting with people, and how people were caring for me, how the healthcare professionals were caring for me, and visualize being ready and calm and there on time and healthy, and visualize walking into the surgical theater, and visualize, getting the IVs that I needed, and just how the whole thing was going to go, how recovery was going to go, how interacting with the surgeons, etc., was going to go, and how my body was going to respond. And having that visualization practice kind of prepared my body, prepared my nervous system for what was going to come. And it allowed me to kind of walk through each step. And that was really important to me. And as I was doing that, I realized I really wanted to have names to faces. And so the part that was the scariest for me was I actually called the office, called their practice, and asked for pictures of the 2 doctors that were going to be performing my surgery, because I wanted to put some names to faces. And I can't believe how nervous I was to call and make that request. And it dawned on me that we tend to be taught to take what doctors say and to do what doctors say as, I guess, almost without challenge, right? And there was no was no negative anything going on, but me requesting something that was maybe not normal or not generally requested of the doctors felt like it was kind of outside of the norm, outside of what I was allowed to ask for. And I thought in a position where I do feel relatively good at being a self-advocate, and where I wasn't asking for anything that was kind of over and above, what could be provided relatively easily, I still felt really, really nervous asking. And the receptionist was very gracious and was very helpful. And she said, I don't have any pictures of them, but she said, can I make sure that I put on your file that you would like to meet the surgeons and meet the other doctors, the anesthesiologist, for example, who are going to be in the room with you? And I said, yes, please. I would really like that, and I would really appreciate being able to meet everyone. And so I felt very much met in that request. So I didn't get what I asked for, which was a picture, but I did make the request and then put in place what I needed to be able to feel really confident and comfortable, which was meeting the people who are going to be in the operating room with me. And when my husband and I arrived at the hospital, it felt good that I had done the visualization of how it was going to go and what I was going to have to do and who I was going to meet, even though it wasn't exactly the same, obviously, because I didn't know. But the visualization of just it being a really calm and supportive and on point admission and all of those things was really helpful for kind of keeping me calm and keeping my nervous system regulated. And the thing that I found was that at every point I was really well taken care of, and people were really generous about letting me know what was going on and seeing if I had any questions, and that may be exactly how it goes. I've never had surgery, and so I didn't know, and so maybe that is the norm, which would be fantastic, right? It'd be fantastic if that is the norm. And it really supported me. And one of the ways that I noticed that was they take my blood pressure, right? They were taking my blood pressure, in kind of getting me ready, and my blood pressure was very normal. Whereas I know that even when I go to the doctor and they take blood pressure or pulse, I'm often quite heightened just because I'm nervous. And I was I was quite impressed with how normal my blood pressure was. And then what just felt really good was that I met every single person that was going to be in the operating room with me before I ever went into the operating room. There was only one person that was in the operating room that I hadn't met prior to walking in, and that person was, I think, running all the machines that were monitoring me. But I met everybody else, and my surgical nurse was just fantastic, kind of telling me what was happening and helping me not feel uncomfortable, because I had to walk into the operating room without my glasses, which I can't see very well without my glasses, so that makes it a little more nerve-wracking, but she was just awesome. And I felt really comfortable and walked in and climbed on the table, and I knew what was going to happen, and I'd already met the anesthesiologist, and I'd met the intern, and I'd met the surgical nurse, and I'd met the 2 surgeons, and it was just really, really good. So when it comes to that kind of self-advocacy piece, even when it's tiny, like asking for pictures, it can be hard, and it can be nerve-wracking because you might be doing something that you think is not normally requested. But it was so valuable for me to prove to myself that I could advocate in a way that felt important to me and that supported me in being able to go into surgery with such a calm and feeling safe, feeling really safe. So it's another part of my story about my surgery, and yeah, I'm happy to share that with you. Bye.